The Awakening of the Chosen. As we dive into this fascinating mystery of existence, we are left with an irresistible invitation to explore the true depth of who we are. We wonder many times whether the narratives we have been given by society about identity are complete or hide more than they reveal. This reflection is a gateway that allows us to question what we consider to be the fixed essence of the I. It is a brave day that invites us to challenge all the limitations that we assume as inherent in ourselves. Within this tangle of identities and societal expectations, there is a clear need to reassess old beliefs that portray us as finite beings. The idea of eternity seems, at first glance, complex and perhaps distant. However, if we look closely, we perceive that this eternity may be a much closer and accessible reality than we might initially imagine. I feel there is a special beauty in remembering our role before we were born. It is an invitation to rethink the narrative we have been given. We face the challenge of distancing ourselves from the voices that insist on defining our reality in a limited way. This process of introspection does not occur without resistance, of course. Each of us carries stories built on narrow interpretations, but the real transformation happens when we decide to open up space for what is beyond them. When we allow ourselves to question these limitations that we have internalized over the years, we begin to perceive a much greater possibility. I feel that this perception guides us to beyond the ego, which often makes us believe that we are isolated in our day. There is an unexplored essence, a dimension of experience that calls us to transcend the apparent separateness we take for granted. The interesting thing about this path is that even those of us who initially consider ourselves skeptical can discover something deeply fascinating and challenging. Recognizing that there is a resonance that transcends the ego, that connects with the essence shared by all, frees us from the burden of a fictitious isolation. As we walk together this day, we perceive a phenomenal interconnection that has not been properly explored in our daily lives. There is a richness in discovering that perceived limitations are, often, shadows of our consciousness that we project onto a reality that, in fact, is waiting to be seen more holistically. It is a dance with the unknown, an invitation to embrace a vision of ourselves that includes the brilliant tapestry of life, interwoven through time and space. In my opinion, it is this dimension of spirituality that truly invites us to live with a renewed freedom. Allowing oneself to go beyond the veil of ingrained prejudices and embrace the magnitude of eternal being is not only a courageous step, but necessary for those seeking a deeper understanding of their purpose. This puzzle, when viewed through spiritual lenses, offers us a glimpse of the eternity that resides within. To perceive this is to recognize that any appearance of separation is a mental construct that we can choose to challenge. And in making this choice, we gain not only a new perspective, but also a profound sense of belonging to the vast universe, where we are not mere travelers, but co-creators of our own extensive and interconnected reality. When we allow ourselves to continue this journey of self-discovery, a subtle yet powerful transformation begins to unfold within us. Perhaps you too have perceived this in moments of silent contemplation, when the rigid boundaries that defined ourself begin to gently crumble, revealing a broader truth. This experience leads us to consider that the concept of I is both an anchor and an opportunity. It anchors us in an identity that is familiar to us, but also offers us the opportunity to expand our understanding beyond established boundaries. Within this expansion, the irresistible proposal emerges that true essence is something eternally present through all moments of life. We are encouraged to re-examine our sense of time, not as a straight line that begins at birth and ends at death, but as an infinite weave of interconnected experiences without beginning or end. We all, on some level, yearn for a greater meaning, and this path of questioning shows us that there is more to this tapestry of life than the naked eye can see. The practice of abandoning limiting narratives is not without challenges, however. We need to confront ingrained ways and beliefs that have been passed down through generations, but it is through this questioning that we see the fragility of these constructions and the strength that exists in consciously redefining who we are. This process not only transforms the way we see ourselves, but also the way we see the world around us. We discover that we can actively participate in the creation of our environment, molding our reality into something that resonates more fully with our inner truth. One of the beauties of embarking on this journey is the renewed ability to marvel at the inexplicable. We begin to notice synchronicities, those moments when the universe seems to whisper its hidden intelligence, reminding us of the intricate web of interconnections that binds us all together. These events, though subtle, are a confirmation that we are not alone in our path. Instead, we are part of a universal cosmic dance. For those who dare to challenge the norms of traditional thought, a profound sense of freedom arises. A freedom that is sustained by the courage to disconnect from old conceptions and embrace possibilities that otherwise would seem unfathomable. Through this process, each of us finds our own way of contributing to the greater mystery of existence. We recognize that every step taken, every choice made, not only connects us with our higher essence, but also energizes the great web of life to which we all belong. It is this understanding that turns doubts into curiosity, fears into excitements, and isolation into deep connection. At the end of this reflection, perhaps we can only embrace this eternal and complex truth, knowing that who we are and what we will be will remain dazzled by the infinite possibilities that the universe offers us every day. 𖤔READ, my nemedleno stalkiwająca s rewolucjonem idei togo, što nasze prisutstvie nie является pasywnym w этом ogromnym kosmosie. The theory, which integrates the active role of our consciousness in the manifestation of reality, profoundly alters the way we understand our own existence. When we realize that observation is not just a revelation, but a creation, we are invited to see ourselves not just as passengers born into a predetermined universe, but as active co-creators of the plots of our lives. This radically new perspective questions the traditional conception of identity, which often associates the I with a fixed personality and a physical body. Life, then, can be understood as a roller coaster, replete with unmanifest powers, waiting to be selected by our consciousness. In every moment of attention and choice, we collapse this vast amount of naked possibilities that we experience as reality. Here, the limitations that we often assume as fixed become visibly malleable. We learn that our identity is not a destiny set by factors beyond our control, but a fluid and creative dance that we can direct with conscious intention. We are not mere actors in a pre-written tangle. We are, in fact, the authors of this narrative. With this understanding, what initially seemed insurmountable structures of time and separation are exposed as illusions, limiting perspectives that can be dissolved when we align ourselves with our eternal and unlimited essence. This awareness brings with it a renewed freedom, a deep sense of connection that transcends the limitations of our three-dimensional understanding. In my understanding, this perspective encourages us to embrace the incredible responsibility and excitement of participating in the creation of the universe in which we live. When we perceive that our choices and thoughts substantially shape our experience, we are empowered to live intentionally, to choose narratives that reflect our highest potential. This does not only involve a personal change, but lays the foundations for collective changes that can resonate throughout the global consciousness. Leaving behind the old paradigm of separation, we find a genuine longing for unity and cohesion. The notion that time is a mental construct opens us up to the experience of the eternal now, a continuous present where anything is possible. Every action and decision becomes an act of creation, manifesting the future from the vibrant backdrop of infinite possibilities. Upon nurturing a greater awareness of this process, we experience a profound sense of freedom to not only be who we really are, but also project what we wish to become. The beauty of this understanding lies in the simplicity of the truth it reveals. Although the external structure of the universe may seem unchanging, internally, we have the ability and the power to transform it. Life, then, is not a succession of events that happen to us, but a series of intentional choices that we make. Understanding this inspires us to live with a sense of purpose and alignment with our true essence, knowing that our actions contribute to the vast tapestry of existence. The illusion of a separate self, restricted to the perimeter of our physical body, dissolves as we immerse ourselves in the unifying consciousness, allowing us to perceive that the universe participates in our journey as much as we deliberately participate in its creation. Powerful, we begin to perceive that every thought, emotion, and intention act as a thread in this vast cosmic tapestry, weaving realities that reflect our collective and individual consciousness. Such an understanding offers us not only freedom, but also the responsibility to co-create an existence that is aligned with our highest essence and sincere aspirations. The idea that our lives are role-playing movies invites us to take on the role of directors of our experiences, choosing which scenes to highlight, which stories to tell, and most importantly, which paths to trace. This challenges the old perception that we are subject to a fate or predestination beyond our control, proposing instead that we are endowed with an incredible creative potential that allows us to redefine our day at each present moment. In practice, this means cultivating a conscious state of presence, where intuition and the heart guide our choices and actions, recognizing that every decision impacts not only our own destiny, but also that of everyone around us. Perhaps the most transformative aspect of this day is not just the change in individual perception, but the collective impact that arises when groups of people awaken to this new awareness. Imagine a global community attuned to the idea that traditional divisions of race, religion, and culture are illusory constructs that obscure our essential unity. This collective awakening can mobilize waves of compassion and collaboration, molding a reality that truly represents the vision of a harmonious and connected world. It is as if we were remembering, on a spiritual level, a deep and innate commitment to flourish together, honoring diversity within the great whole, making it possible to manifest creative and innovative solutions to the challenges we face as humanity. In the midst of all this, there is an urgent call for authenticity. To truly find our most authentic self, we need to detach ourselves from the labels and expectations that are placed on us externally. This process of shedding can be challenging, but it is also deeply liberating. He reminds us that we are more than the masks we wear or the roles we play. We are, in essence, limitless expressions of the ever-expanding cosmos. Each of us possesses the innate ability to align with this infinite presence, this eternal consciousness that transcends the limitations of time and space. Embracing it is, therefore, not just a return to truth, but an essential step towards the transformation of both ourselves and the reality we help to construct. When we engage in this courageous adventure, we are rewarded with a richer and more meaningful perception of life, in which we become conscious participants in a universe that is simultaneously inspired by us and that continuously inspires us. Exploring the illusion of the ego, we are introduced to an insightful vision that exposes how this entity, the invisible, transforms our perception of ourselves and the world around us. The ego, often compared to a virtual reality viewer, fixes us in a distorted and fragmented view of life, keeping us trapped in a cycle of fear and doubt. Living within this illusion, we are often led to believe that we are separate from everything, that our lives are small and isolated. This prevents us from accessing our true inner power. However, when we study the fluidity of the conformal universe made by 𝖔READ, we perceive that the ego is only a superficial layer that obscures the true nature of reality. Every thought and emotion we cultivate triggers vibrations that echo in reality, influencing it in ways that are not always obvious at first glance. This concept reveals to us that the world is not a static and unchanging place. It is continuously influenced and molded by our consciousnesses and inner states. Thus, we perceive that the ego, instead of being a reliable guide, is an illusion that limits our genuine potential. As this insight deepens, we become more able to remove the filter of ego and act from a truly transformative perspective. Suddenly, we begin to see ourselves as much more than mere pieces within an immutable narrative. We discover that we are observers and creators, integrated parts of a vast universal tapestry where there is no real separation, just a constant interconnectedness and creativity flowing through us. When we recalibrate this perception, the fear that keeps us immobilized gives way to a sense of empowerment and freedom. We follow a path that recognizes and honors this interconnected essence, remembering that, by dissolving the illusion of the ego, we are enabled to live a more authentic life, free from the restrictions imposed on us by our own thoughts. What was once seen as limiting is now an opportunity for transformation and growth. This generates an awakening that invites us to embark on a path of deep inner exploration, where we find an infinite number of possibilities within us. We are no longer hostages of limiting narratives, but rather voices that resonate in the complex and dynamic fabric of the universe, each originating from a unique and authentic source of creative power. In this new reality, we become aware of the freedom inherent in our being, discovering that we can not only react to the world around us, but also actively create within it. The wisdom gained with this understanding allows us to embrace uncertainty and the unknown not as threats, but as invitations to creative adventure and self-discovery. As we live from this enlightened perspective, the ego loses its previous control, allowing the true essence of who we are to shine through the darkness of illusion. And so, with courage and intention, we begin to carve a personal path that reflects the magnificence and diversity of the cosmos, knowing that we are, in fact, conscious participants in the great universal mystery that binds us all. From this renewed understanding, the world acquires a more vibrant and meaningful dimension. We are challenged to observe how our thoughts and emotions, previously neglected, play a crucial role in the manifestation of reality. Abandoning the illusions of the ego means transitioning from a passive state to one of conscious and active engagement with the universe around us. No longer limited to the narrow vision that the ego offers, we are now able to enjoy the beauty and potential that resides in every moment. With this expansion of consciousness, we begin to perceive that, in fact, everything is interconnected. Each interaction, however insignificant it may seem, is part of a larger cosmic symphony in which we all play an essential role. This knowledge prompts us to live more aligned with the inner calling of the soul, allowing love and compassion to flourish in our hearts. When we act from this place, we discover that life unfolds with more grace and abundance. Learning to step beyond the veils of the ego opens us up to new possibilities of relationships. Now, we are more able to see others not as distinct figures or antagonists, but as reflections of ourselves sharing the same human day. This insight creates a genuine closeness and compassion that transcends the limits imposed by preconceived judgments. Suddenly, the fear of the unknown, fueled by this illusion of separateness, begins to dissipate, replaced by a more open acceptance of diversity. In this field of expanded perception, we become more resilient in the face of challenges, recognizing that every difficulty is an opportunity to exercise our inner and learned power. Acceptance of our role as co-creators prompts us to receive the teachings embedded in adversity, strengthening our ability to transform experiences into wisdom. This wisdom brings a renewed sense of peace and stability, regardless of circumstances. At the end of this process, a deep and tangible understanding emerges that we are multifaceted beings, with the capacity to transform not only our own lives, but also to positively influence the larger web of life around us. The awareness that ego narratives are just passing shadows asks us to live with more authenticity, allowing our true nature to form the basis of our actions. The magic of this path lies in the constant evolution and dance between what we were, what we are, and what we can become. With each step we take out of the shackles of ego, we reaffirm our innate strength and ability to transcend perceived limitations. This provides us with continuous purpose and joy as we harmonize our essence with the flow of cosmic life. Embracing this reality is an invitation to live more fully, in tune with the natural rhythm of the universe, making real the visions that inspire and uplift our souls. As we immerse ourselves in the fascinating dynamics of synchronicities, We are led to reinterpret these magical moments as more than mere coincidences. They are the language of the universe, a subtle way of communicating with us, revealing an alignment between our inner state and outer manifestations. Realizing that when we think of someone and then that person contacts us, or when a book we need suddenly appears in our path, are not just random events. They are, in fact, responses to our deepest vibrations and intentions, a direct reflection of what is happening in our inner world. This understanding transports us to a new vision of reality, where life ceases to be a random chain of events to become an intricately connected and responsive fabric. 𖣔READ offers us an inspiring look at how our thoughts and emotions act as commands that tune the universe, shaping the experiences we experience. This understanding invites us to live more consciously, paying attention to the signs and messages around us. When we become receptive to these interactions, we shift to seeing synchronicities as guides that help us trail our path, guiding our choices and reconnecting us with the greater purpose that imbues our lives. Living in harmony with these synchronicities means accepting that we are in constant dialogue with the universe. Every thought, every intention, has the potential to create ripples that reverberate through the cosmos, establishing a continuous elo between us and everything. This insight encourages us to cultivate a positive and intentional mental and emotional state, knowing that in doing so we raise our frequency and attract enriching and meaningful experiences. Instead of getting lost in the uncertainty of apparent chaos, this alignment offers us a quiet certainty that, when we act with purpose, life responds in unexpected and rewarding ways. The idea that we actually live with the universe, and not just within it, reveals a cosmic dance in which each of us plays a unique role. This reminds us of the importance of acting in accordance with our inner truth, for it is authenticity that evokes the most harmonious responses of the universe. The interconnectedness of all events and experiences enables us to develop a deep sense of confidence in our journey, knowing that even in moments of challenge, there is a hidden lesson, an ongoing evolution. This relationship with the universe transforms our approach to everyday life. Synchronicities become like shining stars in the sky of our experience, points of light that guide us through the vastness of the unknown. They urge us to look beyond surface appearances and recognize the invisible connections that sustain our reality. Each synchronicity is an invitation to explore the mystery and wonder of existence, encouraging us to keep our minds open and our hearts receptive to the wonderful surprises that await those who dare to live with genuine intention. Adopting this new vision is more than a mere intellectual exercise. It is a practice of spiritual presence. As we expand our knowledge of how the universe really operates in response to us, we come to experience life with a renewed sense of reverence and gratitude. Through this practice, we become conscious co-creators, skillfully guiding our lives in collaboration with the universal forces that continuously work in our favor. This dance together enriches us, strengthens us, and prepares us to participate fully in the vast possibilities that the universe offers at every moment. This continuous dance with the universe teaches us to value the power of intention. When we act consciously, we perceive that our actions are rooted in a deeper purpose. This awareness encourages us to cultivate clear and positive intentions, for we know that it is these intentions that anchor the synchronicities in our daily reality. As we synchronize our personal vibration with the frequency of love, compassion, and authenticity, we become magnets to experience meaningful moments that uplift us spiritually. As we navigate through life with this spiritual compass, we discover that even our challenges are present. Synchronicities do not always arise in moments of total clarity. Sometimes they appear in the midst of uncertainty and chaos, offering us new paths and perspectives that we might not have considered. They remind us that the universe is always working in our favor, even when we don't get to see that clearly. This confidence strengthens us with an inner resilience to face any adversity, knowing that every step, every event, is carefully orchestrated in the grand scheme of our day of life. The deep connection we develop with the universe through synchronicities encourages us to share this awareness with others. In doing so, We inspire those around us to also listen to their hearts and trust the intentions of the universe. This exchange of experiences and insights fosters a network of awakened consciousnesses, each contributing to the collective awakening of humanity. In this community of spiritual seekers, we find mutual support and growth, nurturing our spiritual and human development. From this synergy, we emerge as more conscious and effective co-creators. Our understanding of synchronicities impels us to move along a path of cooperation, where the energy exchange between individuals aligns with the natural rhythms of the universe. This collaboration is not limited to the personal sphere. It reaches out to create positive impacts in our communities and the planet as a whole. We recognize that every intentional act reverberates through the cosmos, weaving new possibilities and realities that benefit all. Finally, the wisdom of synchronicities invites us to live in a state of continuous presence, where every moment is an opportunity to establish a deeper and more harmonious self with universal existence. Each day presents us with a new chapter to write with consciousness, where we allow the language of the universe to gently guide us through its vast possibilities. As we embrace the abundance of experiences the universe offers, we awaken to the truth that we are eternally supported by a cosmos that relentlessly conspires for our well-being and spiritual growth. In this journey of discovery, learning, and union, we discover that the universe speaks to us in a language of love and synchronization, inviting us to align our steps with the eternal dance of life. Than mere momentary reactions. They are, in fact, the driving forces that define and shape our daily reality. Every emotion we feel, we are emitting a unique frequency, which connects to the vast unified field of the universe. This field, in essence, responds according to the vibrations we emit, reflecting back the experiences that most resonate with our emotional state. When we cultivate feelings of gratitude and joy, for example, we open ourselves up to experiences that amplify those positive emotions, attracting circumstances and people that enrich our path. It is as if the universe conspires to mirror our inner vibration, providing us with the favorable scenario to flourish. On the other hand, emotions such as fear or anger also play a role. Although they may seem uncomfortable, they offer us valuable lessons about where we are misaligned and need internal adjustments. Facing them no longer as enemies, but as teachers, transforms the emotional dynamic. They show us with clarity where there is room for growth and realignment with our deepest essence. Emotional awareness practices invite us to observe, without judging, these emotions, learning to integrate them in ways that contribute positively to our day. In this way, we become conscious architects of our lives, because by working with our emotions, we create the basis for manifesting the reality we wish to experience. Taking responsibility for our emotional state therefore becomes a powerful act of deliberate creation. We are no longer victims of chance or external influences, but rather intentional co-creators in an ever-present and constantly evolving universe we know together. This insight empowers us, enriching our ability to consciously and positively influence the experiences we attract. Instead of reacting automatically and unconsciously, we switch to responding deliberately and intentionally, in harmony with our inner self. When we adopt this approach, the universe begins to respond even more clearly and directly to our authentic emotions. This fine-tuning with this greater energy reveals to us a transformative connection with all that exists, recognizing that we are an integral part of an interconnected whole. This is a dynamic relationship that challenges us to grow continuously and offers us endless opportunities for evolution and self-realization. The journey of self-knowledge through the emotional matrix teaches us to live in a state of enriching presence, understanding that our emotions are valuable expressions of our true nature. As we align with the feelings we wish to experience, we intentionally create an environment that nourishes the soul and promotes well-being. This revolutionary act of conscious creation transforms what was previously perceived as an obstacle into a driving force that leads us to new paths of expansion and universal consciousness. In the process, we discovered that we really aren't friends. We are in constant partnership with the universe, participating in a harmonious dance that involves every thought and emotion. We are called to honor this dance, embracing both the highs and lows with the understanding that it is all an essential part of the journey. In doing so, we become not only masters of our emotions, but also shining examples for those around us, inspiring a continuous cycle of growth and transformation that resonates in the very fabric of existence. Art de vivre comme emotional awareness provides us with unparalleled freedom. This freedom is not just the ability to choose how we react to external situations, but the ability to mold the own flow of events in our lives. It is fascinating note as the emotional state school but elevated can alternately alter the or course of a day, trace synchronic moments and opportunities that appear ensconce entitled. This subtle, more powerful refurbishment of nutritional impression of a psychological and emotional ambientness that favors us the expression of our potentially elevated but elevated. Practice says full interest and emotional consciousness even only aligns us with us, but we are always raising our extraordinary reality, turning us more than presence and welfares. This state of presence allows us to identify patterns in ours and reacts, abrinding a space for the currency and transmutas of energies stacked. This is inner alchemy, emotion as sadness or frustration of yours and processed process, transforming it into clauses and clasping. This process encourages us to evaluate savage habits and engagement in practice that feed or hope, such as meditation, active gratitude, and crying visibility. As we turn our thoroughly torn to emotional gesture, we impact our atmosphere that we frequently turn palpate. We turn our moodance agents, irradiating a calm and equilibrated presentation that reverberates positivity and inspiration. The weights of the rudder come to perceive this difference, more times only attracted to this vibrant energy and elevated. This dominant effect of self-conscience has not enriched our lives, more evenly harmony and transformation of our circles as we move, contributing to a conscientious conscience of consciousness and interconnected knowledge. Conform us to us before I do not walk the emotional alming, not to be obvious that life is not something that canoe say, but something we cry quickly. From this perspective, even the challenge of challenges is torn rival opportunities to grow and evolve. Learn to absorb this realness, we are able to flow with the inevitable muscles of life, even every new experience with aberturation and accusation. We live in a state of continuous and love. Every emotion, every attorney is debris as an essential part of cosmic tape. This prolific life-to-life transforms us with universal relationships, revelation that we are undisposed legad at the natural flow of interest and vibration that permisses people. We are engaged in a conversion with or cause. All ours are as notes in a universal symphony. We've equilibrated our inner frequency. We harmonize this music, crying a gracious dance between ours being inner and the world's rushing. In my last analytical, this self-dedication sensors leads us to a deep sensation of peace and content. From tenses of tranquility a space, we parabet that they are within us or be able to influence and cohere a reality that reflects that we really are. AO synonymously with the freedoms of gratitude, love, and companion, torname shaped from light in the world that is needed so much of this energy. A simpi, we summarize us more, inspirational life, as the hopes that guide our walks and contributing positively for the cultivative evolution of humanity. But we back or fascinating multiple realities. Streaming form, and every channel represents a different attitude of existence. This metaphor of our adjust to see as we can interact with different verteds to reality that coexist them, accessed again to be able to provide us with consciousness. Every school, every thought, actually as a cosmic remote control, adjusting our tunes for the reality that reflects our sense, but authentic. When we start What I Am, we insisted a deep process of authorization that no matter how much you try to understand or be that we are, more or we're going to be tormented. Nessies of multiple potentially powered physics we furn a formal explanation for, as or simplifies a toas of observation, can influence the realization that we express. We are lembrails that or crucified observers efficacy, suggesting that our actual realization is an advocate of our continuous focus with us and thoughts. This talent is complemented between consciousness and reality, 𖣔READ continuous dialogue, even our intenses, what like a program, direct or show of our life. To take consciousness about underskilled and intensive alignment with our desires, but deep, but we are able to mold and collapsing these non-ready possibilities. This understanding of us recognizing the importance of aligning us consistency of our thoughts, emittings and creativity as realizing we want to manifest. When we abracate this practical, we are not real. We engage us in my process of conscientious comics, that we will concede many vertets of multitudes that merely represent us ours and our true desires. Every conscious school and each such intense torn tiggets of them in the building of our realistic desired reality. This is a practice that does not open the night for or said, but a handling side and intense wave of persistence in focusing non-positive and no verdict mirror milda gornada. Because I have a conscientious school, we will learn that the ideal of our messes, I hear our vast possibilities of multiplying, supporting us assuming all our papers, like the true observation that says to the realities of reality. This modern insighty challenge to the traditional 𖣔READ that we are confined to a single lifeline of life. In fact, we empower us to perceive that we can live a life replete of meaning and reality, guided by our minds and core. We assemble this paper of leadership in our own history. We will break with limitations, perceive that the life of a field of infinitely cries and innovatives. The experience of learning to syntonize consciously to attract reality we desire and transform. She's teaching us to be present, to be realistic people of which we want to demonstrate, and to accredit our intrestination capacitance of molding our experience. There's a certain beast and misery I know that the life we really want to live is always at the end, hoping to be revealed from our desperate conscience. This level of understanding our life is recommended, to provide every day as an opportunity for us to alienanda, but we really are, and or that we deeply desire. The conscientious co-crying gorn our offerings are not even peshual growth, but we have time to inspire out to 𖣔READ, or lying potential that resides within each of our life, reconciliation that our consciousness is the master's house that unlocked to the gates of the possibilities of multitudes of multiplying. A simp, we turn our experiences of experiences, use our focus and intensity as premium ferries to convert prima material in some extraordinary something. This profound reality that we are co-crisives impulses us to cultivate a mental state of total preference and cry over us more autumn desires. As much as we've really approximately quoted to be, but we've learned say that this reflement is indoor align. Our practitioners of meditation and visional visas, portage we have with our own realization, turning us mind to stay synonized with acquire that resolution with our truthfulness. Every mental image, each a voicing emotion during those moments turns a bridge of anchoragem that we know that we want to demonstrate. This process is similar to the fit of a musical instrument, throat to harmonia surgeon when all the strings are perfectly unfinished. From the same form, our lives fluorescent when we are effort to live with congruence, I sync with our values and aspirations of more. The practice of conscientious, combined with paxation and proposal, transforming our special fields and herbs of possibilities that reverberated over the universe teeth. This motion crying in a space so that new opportunities over, forming a trajectory that we care about every time our ideal verses. Night state, we find our peshual realities, but also to be able to attract relations and circumstances that support that mildly evolution. To the energy that we project atua as an attracting for our lives sweat, or that resolution with us elevated. As your true moodance agents, we therefore let us live intensely, and come we promote an impact that is extended from us to try. Crying consciously to reality, I don't know our beneficiation undivided, but also drastically planted tranquility and non-collected inspiration. Outros are naturally attracted by this magnetic energy and elegant, singing a cycle of growth, learning, and common evolution. simply sense or life example of illustrious possibilities of multitudes, we touched the life of 2 𝖔READ and incentivized or desperate of human potential. Reflecting on this day, we'll be able to reside in the conscience of awareness, the ability to decide in every moment what we do want to see flourisher. It's a gorn that no one faces, replicating revelation constants and discouragement, each a UR lifting a passage, but I'm meaningful to us. We through this auto-development adventurer and cry, life is descended within us as a field of possibilities for possibilities to be exploited and vivid. This vision was not revitalizing or spiritual, but we preferred at the slow possibility of every one of our integration, positively resistance to the comfy taper. SSA life and molded by UA seal of crunchy that, many times we apprised me padres netlessness. It's intriguing that you're crunchy, that it appears to be snapped, is the guilt of males and podum be transformed. We contemplate that we thought to be, we thrive reflex space on nature of our own identity. We observe that, simply as we have grown up, our association can be renewed. We are convicting of rescuing our pessoal and alithals, the real but deep. Imbuses desire perpetrators. We say that the universal is that we have a bottom line pan. She resides within us, intimately entrenched with the night being, smiling as expanded in harmony as an ecosystem weeds. We acknowledge below, we perceive the importance of abandoning perspective veils that I have not served us, but we thrive novaries of life that reflee the grandeur of ours I have more. That authoritarian and transformation is a powerful chain for us to see us realistically as criers of our own experience. As we just adjust our focus and ends our inner frequency, we began to perceive the challenges of life sob a new light. Ella's dacium of being obstacles and tornado opportunities vitais for reclamation, fitting bridges that we drive for or walk our 2 schools, but elevated. Is Nessie process that we learn that the life is not a random flux and desorption of event, but a more complex and many times you are, compostly compost notes of tens of tenses of consciences and intentions. Nosament to exercise and 𝖔READ this music depends on our disposal to challenge narrative veils and allow us to embrace our within us. We're constantly involved with universal and this reflement interest in every aspect of our existence. We would take up dissociation conscience. We began to feel a deep sense of agency and purpose. SA wisdom encourages us to assemble responsibilities for our lives, listening to the crunches we want to cultivate. As we liberalized us from automatic operations of limitations, we open space for our possibilities, allowing that experiences and reals but aligned with our inner desires are manifested. This perpetual and continuous transformation process, Summit End Bridge defining. It's an interminable adventure of auto-discovery wave. Each time, we are comfy to mold and forge our reality. Behind the day, the resistance of ours I'm going to be a corrigium. We're sorry or future with confidence renovated. Know that each school can resolution as the real is that we are. This aligned alienness our illumin over, or power we possible to influence our existence contours, reveling that we are not at markets, but we are ours thumbs of our history. When we reckon and we accumulate this paper, every moment is transformed into convite to expand, learn, and grow. The walking 2 of us is replica of marvels to ceremony, and to chase to meet these marvels residents in our restressing and ressing to resize to historia, we count on our messes. I was focused on this new entity. We began to see or potent potential in every situation and in every interest. We learned to smell with superficial appearances, exploring the nights of the night to be an examination. When we allow us to live in harmony as universal symphony, but will allow that we will be tired or be able to cry out a reality that reflects our essence, plenary and Rika of meaning. In my last analyses, this reconciliation of us offer an intimate knowledge, so we can only school to affinity, the melody or the rhythm of our life canyons. I am an eternal conviction to dancing at the same, assertive, and resort to our history to meditate that we love, intensity, and activity. Continuation of reconciliation and from renovation. We learn that As we know more new modes of seeing and be, we desperate for aspects of our misery, we before we are dominant. This despairing no penances enriched our individual experience, more influencing form as we connected with our world to our network. In the level of energetics, we began to attract experiences and weights that this is in tune with this new vibration, crying a circuit of growth and excavation that extends more than we have. Since we named this transformation, we perceive that every conscious sculling, and as planting a simile, not only fertile even night. The revision of you employs me in compromising continuously in nutrition those things with clear intentions and autumn values, allowing that flesh and prospered in your plenary. Every tenth we take, every step that gives us in my direction to this narrative, reflament a harmonious dance between the brown book and to our profound Asania. This dance we invite us to explode new express forms and to embrace fully to the only day that is to us. As this corrigium renovated, we feel but soon to explore or dissemble us, and we want to alive from the frontiers of which before possibly appear. Life, like all your unexpected voltages, they turn into a field of inexplosive opportunities, hoping to cease vivid. We are inspired to question our perpetrator, and to us continuously seem to be true, and what is the reality that we want to give life. This constant question of our brim with the ability to see surface a lem, of recognition to beleza and abundance that always exists within us and to our nets. Such ideas are lying on a deep understanding that we are authors and artistes from our own history, dotades of incremental capacitance, and of us reinvent us continuously. To resize or we would alien us with a universal realm, that every moment is a twist and branch, waiting for our bruise brushing and disintegration. This recognition of our reluctance from being able to listen to our day and walking for it as grace and determinants, as soon as the universal temper is to offer. As I pass, we are presented with chance to manifest love that reflow ours, are more deep and aspirations but elevated. We would resize or and we rebuked us narrative. We learned about living in harmony with the great symphony that is life. Historical history is torn a sign of testing of love, transforming love, from the visa and of the authenticity. His asimpi, we excrete not only for our mess, more than for the future cheer, inspiring, elevating and celebrating the eternal dance of cry that opens in every one of us.